Welcome to the Mystic Millionaire Podcast, where wealth is energy, success is a mindset, and abundance is your birthright. I am Danielle Amos, your host and mentor, here to help you unlock prosperity, embody confidence, and manifest a life you love. Take a breath, align with your truth, and let's manifest millions. Welcome to the Mystic Millionaire Podcast. My name is Danielle Amos, your host, and this podcast is for high-achieving people who know that they're made for more, that have hustled their way to the top, but know that there must be a better and easier way. And I'm here to tell you that there is. This universe operates by law. So there's a system by which those dreams in your mind and in your heart can become the reality of your life. This podcast today is in response to a question that I got from a client. And perhaps you've asked it before. I know I have, even recently in the season I'm in right now. Why me? Does that sound familiar? Perhaps you've got a lot going on. I know for many of us, 2025 was an interesting year. It was the year of the wood snake. Wood is heavy, dense. And 2025 was definitely dense and heavy for many of us. And it's also the year of the snake. And that year isn't ending until February 16th, when the year of the fire horse comes in. And so the year of the snake is about letting go, shedding, really being honest with yourself about what is in alignment with this next phase of your life and what isn't. And anything that wasn't in alignment with that next phase was actually required you to shed, to let go. So this is the year where we saw people leaving marriages like myself, ending relationships, friendships, contracts, programs, the way you did business. And so this next little while, this like next month or so is like the final shake off. You know, if you can see me, it's like shedding. And so you're really being called into integrity with your truth and where you're going. And so in these seasons, it can feel heavy. You know, I'm not the only one who asked, why me? Why me? After everything that I've gone through over the past few years, why me? And I'll share a little bit of a personal story. Just last week, I was asking myself that question as I looked down at my little puppy Pomeranian Sky, who's in his bed right here in front of me so I can see him. He's got a cough and it kind of sounds like asthma, like even a smoker's cough, you know? And we've always known that Pomeranians are known for their trachea and it can collapse. And also he has a heart murmur. And so we kind of let it be. And I noticed over the last couple of weeks that it seems to be bothering him more. So I took him to the vet and I'm doing some homeopathic and I've got like an animal communicator that's helping me and I take him to the naturopath, as funny as that sounds. And then on Wednesday, when it was really icy outside, I watched him and it looked like he slipped. And he has always had like a sensitive knees, like his patella will rotate. Anyway, long story short, he came back in from going outside to the washroom and he was hobbling on 3 legs. And it didn't look good. And then I noticed that he was playing favorites to the other one even. So I took him to the vet and by the end of the week, he wasn't using either legs and he's still not. And they put him on pain medication that I think was too much for him. And he was completely out of it. And so Sunday night, like his eyes are rolling back. I'm like up with him all night watching him. And I share that because I noticed that I was saying, like, why, why me? Like, why now? I've got so much going on. And like, and I even wrote to my best friend and like, I don't know if I can handle anymore. So, mine's about my pet and it's compounded. It might seem like a small thing. And the truth is, it's the smallest thing that can actually impact us the most when we've been holding so much. And I haven't been shy. I've been quite open with you talking about what's been going on behind the scenes in my life with a divorce that is not yet an amicable split with someone who has been quite difficult, to be honest, where there's been police involved and restraining orders and all of these things. And then a lot of transition in my business. And gosh, there's been a lot. And so moving house, selling house, finding out we got to move house again. So it's like the straw that breaks the camel's back, is that the saying? And it's not that I'm broken. I just like found myself asking why me. So if you resonate, I'd love to hear from you. And I share what I'm going through behind the scenes because my life isn't perfect and neither is anyone else's that you're following. And I've said that before. The difference between people who have a lot of success is that they don't let the challenges hold them back and that they move through moments. And when they get questions like, why me, they use their tools. And so I'm going to share really what I use because I was just speaking with a client who, like, there's no coincidence, is who asked me the same question. She manifested, attracted something into her life that was challenging earlier this week. And I responded back in a way that I think that was personal, like coaching for me as well, which there's no say coincidences, and that could help you. And I know that you've attracted this podcast for a reason. And so it may be because of the season that you are in. And that's okay. That's why we have these tools. I also want to say we're going into the year of the fire horse. And think about a horse and its movement. A horse is incredibly intuitive and it moves swiftly and has a lot of charisma. And it's very wise. And it's elegant. And it can move slowly. And it can gallop and move so fast. And it has a lot of power. And so the year of the horse normally is a year to like go for it. It's like to sprint. The year of the fire horse is telling you to sprint now, to go for it now. And fire is like a right now energy. And so you might be getting ready to get ready, might be feeling that it's time for you to get going. And I recommend shed what is you're being called to shed now, because the year of the fire horse, it's like go time. It's like welcoming this year. Anyone else? Like it's about time. I feel it. So I made some notes for you. Well, they were for my client, and I'm going to share with you here. So when we ask why me, it has an underlying energy of why is this happening to me? And it's like there's a change in perception that one can have to understand that life is never happening to you. It's happening for you and quite literally through you. Because energy, so the law of perpetual transmutation of energy says that the energy that we're all made of, so consciousness, God, energy, moves to and through you to create. And that's where everything's created from. And so when you say, why me? It's like, you got to ask yourself, like, not why is this happening to me? Why is this happening for me? And like, who's creating this for yourself? You are. Your higher self is creating this. You're co-creating with energy, which is, I believe, God. And so at any point, the experience you have can be like literally popped out of your hologram or your 3D experience. And for right now, it is here. And all we have is right now, this moment. So your response to the situation matters. It dictates what comes next. And so that question, why me, has that energy of like, why is this happening to me? That's not happening to you, first of all. It's happening for you. And it's something that you've attracted to you because it's for you, for your growth, for your purpose. Your higher self has put this in your path. And there's an element here that I like remind myself if I don't prefer it. But here's the thing, I want to trust that everything that I'm attracting is coming because it's a gift for me. And so that there's a lesson in here. So I look for, how can I take the gold, find the gold, harvest the good from the situation, take my power back from it, learn from it, transmute the energy within it, including like especially the negative emotions I'm feeling, and turn this lump of coal into a diamond. And the faster that I'm able to do that, the faster the situation can clear from my experience if it's not one that I prefer. And at the same time, I trust. And so when we think about why me, it also has a perception that something is wrong here, like something has gone on or it's unfair. But I was contemplating, like, would God have that perspective? And I always try to take myself to my higher self's viewpoint or God's eye view. And it's like, no, God doesn't see that anything's wrong. My higher self doesn't see that anything's wrong. No matter what I manifest into my experience, it's not wrong. So that question of why me often is loaded with this unconscious assumption that something's wrong here. And it's also, there's often like a feeling of blame, fairness, and something outside of yourself. So you want to take responsibility and know that your highest version of you, who understands universal law, doesn't have the question like, why me? Instead of it's like, what's here for me? Or why is this through me? Like, what is the lesson here? And so life isn't happening to you, it's happening for you, and it's actually responding to you, and nothing is by mistake. And in God's eye view, every experience is built in with so many gifts. There's no punishment, there's no test for work, and there's no mistakes. It's feedback, it's refinement, it's growth. And so when we understand some key universal laws, well, the law of cause and effect first, the law of vibration, and then we also understand what it means to be in alignment with your next level self, so your self-image, then you can start to see, perceive why isn't the best question, but like what the purpose of this experience is. And, Steve Jobs used to say, we can connect the dots looking backwards. So that hindsight is so beneficial. And can you have that perception of hindsight or that ability to harvest the good while you're in the moment? Can you gain the lessons while you're in the thick of it? And it's not easy to do, and it's possible. And so let me share with you now how I reflected on some of this for myself. So I know without a shadow of a doubt, those of us that have experienced a lot in life, a lot of challenges, a lot of circumstances, I believe that we experience them so that we can become better at holding more. And the more impact that you're here to make, you got to be able to hold a lot because it's a huge responsibility when you're impacting thousands or millions of people. And so when I think about that, why me? Like when I think, oh my gosh, I can't handle anymore, it's like, yes, actually, you are capable of this and much more. And in hindsight, years from now, this situation might appear to be tiny in comparison to what you've experienced over the last decade, you know? And so why me? The question is like, well, I've been made for this. You've been made for this. You have the ability, the capacity to hold so much and to recognize that you're fully supported. And so part of that for me is like, well, in my humanness, I feel like it's all on my shoulders or this is a lot to handle. And so then my mind goes, well, where is there an opportunity to ask for support? Who can support you through this? We're not meant to do this alone. And I start to open up. I'm like, with my dog, well, my grandmother, my parents, and then I have a team of holistic animal caregivers that love the sky, an animal communicator. There's a chiropractor. Like, I'm actually fully supported and I can handle this and that together. My business can still thrive. I can still be a good mom. I can still travel while I'm going through this. And so I don't wish for the situation to be easier, although I pray for Sky's good health. I pray and I wish for my ability to hold more with ease and grace be expanded. That I don't give up. That I still show up for you, my community, my clients, my daughter. And not that anyone would fault me if I lied in bed depressed for a month. That can happen. And I know my purpose is calling me greater than that. And so for those of you, and I know many of you on this podcast and who listen to me know that you're made for more. And know this, that if you have a huge impact, you're going to be asked to hold a lot. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't self-regulate, that you don't give yourself self-care. I had a nap on Monday. I went to bed super early. I regulated my nervous system. I did breath work and meditation, got my own healing. I'm taking care of myself. And when there's a desire to lie in bed, I do that and I don't stay there in victim mode. I'm not perfect. Years ago, that's exactly what I did. And so wherever you are in your journey, I want you to take a breath, first of all. And if you find yourself asking, why me? Ask, what is it revealing? What tools do you have that you can use? What support can you gather around you? And what lessons are right there for you? Because you've attracted this for a reason, and there's good in it. There's absolutely good in it. I can't see it yet because all I, think about is Sky's good health. And there's a gift. There's got to be a gift. All right, some tools. Letting your emotions out. Like I said to my friend, I just feel like I want to scream. And I did that. Scream. Let your emotions out. Cry. Allow yourself to be witnessed in those emotions. I had a very good cry and I did scream and scream into a pillow. Move your body, shake it out. A good friend of mine who lost her father, she said, have you ever noticed it takes about as long as a song to get your emotions out and transmute them? Play a song, cry or dance and jump, and you'll notice after minutes of moving and letting those emotions flow, they actually dissipate. And then they don't have to get stuck somewhere in your body. Name your emotion. I was angry when this happened with Sky. I was angry at myself. I had so much grief and a whole lot of fear. I didn't have to explain why. I named it and I got them out. I moved them around. Instead of concentrating on why me, let's change our perspective by asking some really great questions. So first of all, understanding that you are an incredible being here to impact a lot of people. So the why me is because you can handle it and that you're built for this. And so then asking, what part of me gets to be upgraded through this experience? What is this experience asking me to let go of, upgrade, to build? Where am I being asked to grow? And notice what comes up. Now, on that note, changing your perspective, have God's eye view. What I mean by that is that's your higher self's view. View this from nothing's wrong here. No judgment. And instead, notice what it's shifting. Is there a boundary that you get to put into place? Is it trusting yourself more? Is that muscle strengthening? Attachment. God, over the weekend, I did a lot of reading around detaching. Is there an old paradigm or an old identity that needs to go? Transform it. The next tool is notice if you have some negative self-talk that's operating on a pattern that you get to disrupt. So perhaps you might have a story like this always happens to me, or I don't have good luck, or I'm unlucky, or I'm stuck. Reframe it, because whatever you believe and you tell yourself will be true for you. So if you're saying something like this always happens to me, or I have the worst luck, that will be true. This will continue to happen to you. I found myself saying like, it's like, I've already been in a season of so much. And it's like, well, no, the season's wrapping up. I can handle this. This is like one more area of growth, of expanding my capacity to hold things. And I can do it, or else it wouldn't be in my experience. And now it's to like hunker down and use my tools, ask for support, and to make sure that I'm not in victim, that I take my power back and understand that this is my own creation, to harvest that lesson as soon as possible and release it. So let's circle back here. Oh. And if you've been asking yourself, why me, in a season that's been hard, recognize that you're in exactly the right place, that you are, or else that you wouldn't be here. Okay, so everything is perfectly right. Don't blame. Don't be a victim. Take your power back and go through and use some of those tools and harvest the lessons so that you really, truly get connected and can connect those dots in hindsight. You are made for this. I am made for this. If we're here with a purpose to impact so many people, then this is part of the way that we get to impact so many people and hold that great responsibility of being a person in 2026, when the world is changing so fast and the world is calling upon leaders like you and I. Exactly the reason. So go harvest the lesson and then return back to love and gratitude. Have gratitude. For me, it's for Sky, my experience so far with him. Bring it back to love and gratitude for all that you're experiencing in this incredible life, this 3D experience that we call life. And I want to use the analogy of you being at an amusement park. You know, it sounds funny, but people every single day go on rides that scare the living bejesus out of them because they find it fun to be scared. We go on these roller coasters and we choose our rides because we want to live. We want to experience all the emotion, the range of emotions. So you're right where you're supposed to be. Use your tools, harvest your lessons, and thank yourself for this manifestation, this experience. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to the Mystic Millionaire Mentor. If this podcast resonated, I'd love to hear from you. I am committed to the next season of the Mystic Millionaire Podcast. And in order to do that, we need your thumbs up. We need you sharing this podcast. I'd love to see you in my DMs with telling me what resonated. And we promise that we'll keep it going for you in this new year. So thank you so much for being here. Happy New Year. And we'll see you on the next episode.